What's up, guys? All you NFL players who behaved badly this year, we've got news for you. Santa Claus is coming to town, and he knows that you've been bad, which means you're on his naughty list. Sorry, but you naughty players shouldn't expect any fancy gifts from Mr. Claus. No fancy cars, no Rolex watches, no, gold teeth, toys, no candy, no nothing. Only a big lump of coal for your bad on and off the field behavior. Here are 10 NFL players that will be on Santa's naughty list for 2019. Make sure to subscribe to DPS, put on your notifications too, because we post videos all the time. New videos all the time, subscribe. But before we cut to the list, we have one dishonorable mention. Robert Kraft. Yeah, he's not an NFL player, but just a couple of weeks after the New England Patriots won their 6th Super Bowl, owner Robert Kraft appeared in headlines for all the wrong reasons, and it wasn't because of excessive partying. I mean, it depends on what you call partying, but rather it was announced that Kraft would be charged with soliciting prostitution after he visited a massage parlor that took part in sex trafficking. Police also had video evidence of Kraft going to the spa, though a judge blocked it from being released. Kraft apologized for his actions, but this was certainly a bad look on the golden NFL franchise. Kraft isn't a player, like I said, so he doesn't qualify for our actual list. But still, we felt that the billionaire sports owner deserves a dishonorable mention for his actions here. And now to the real list. Number 10, Jalen Ramsey. The 2017 first All-Team Pro quickly became one of the league's most well-known trash talkers. But like Richard Sherman, for example, Ramsey almost always backed it up. So you had to respect what he said, to a degree. However, Ramsey provided too many off-the-field distractions during his final weeks with the Jaguars. And Santa took note. Ramsey made headlines when he was seen screaming at head coach Doug Marrone on the sidelines in Week 2 against the Houston Texans. Ahead of the trade deadline, Ramsey was also sent to the Los Angeles Rams in a major blockbuster deal. Ramsey and Marcus Peters also engaged in a verbal confrontation after the Rams-Ravens Week 12 Monday Nighter. A nice lump of coal awaits Ramsey's stocking now, but on the low, he's probably going to get a new car, so... Number 9, Derek Barnett. The Philadelphia Eagles visited the Green Bay Packers on Thursday Night Football in Week 4 of the 2019 season, but the high-scoring affair was overshadowed by one ugly cheap shot. Jamal Williams was being wrapped up by a couple of Eagles defenders on a play early in the first quarter, when suddenly out of nowhere, Barnett ran in and dished out a brutal headshot on the defenseless Packers running back. That wasn't the first time where he was penalized for a dirty hit in 2019 either. Williams was carted off, but thankfully avoided serious injury. Barnett somehow avoided the suspension and was merely given a minor slap on the wrist with a $28,075 fine. Sorry, Derek, maybe you're not as dirty as guys like Vontaze Burfict, but hits like this is exactly what they're trying to eliminate from the game. You showed zero regard for a fellow player's safety, and because of that, you shall not receive any gifts from Santa in 2019. Number 8, Antwaun Woods. The undrafted nose tackle out of USC played with the Tennessee Titans from 2016 to 17, before landing with the Dallas Cowboys in 2018. But this underdog story hit a speed bump along the way during the 2019 season. A couple of days before the Cowboys' Week 14 road game against the Chicago Bears, Woods was arrested in Frisco, Texas, and charged for being in possession of the marijuana and tampering with evidence. Hopefully Woods will learn from his mistake, but for 2019, he lands on Santa's naughty list. Number 8, Antonio Callaway. There was tremendous hype surrounding the Cleveland Browns ahead of the 2019 season. They had Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, and Nick Chubb on offense. But people also knew not to overlook second-year wideout Antonio Callaway, who was coming off a nice 586-yard rookie season. Of course, the Browns wound up being one of the league's biggest disappointments of 2019. And Callaway's troubles basically summed up everything that went wrong for Cleveland in Freddie Kitchens' first year as a head coach. 1 month before the start of the 2019 season, Callaway was hit with a 4-game suspension after he violated the league's substance abuse policy. The Browns waived Callaway in the middle of the season, as he was hit with another 10-game suspension after failing a pair of drug tests. And so Callaway's promising tenure with the Browns quickly came to an end. Due to the suspension, Callaway was forced to sit out the year without being picked up by another team. We can only hope that Callaway will learn from these 2 suspensions and revive his career. At the very least, it'll earn him a spot on Santa's naughty list. Number 6, Leonard Fournette. After a productive rookie year for the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2017, injuries and inconsistency led to a frustrating sophomore season for Fournette in 2018. After the season, Fournette met with Tom Coughlin, the team executive vice president of football operations, to sort things out. The pressure was on Fournette heading into 2019, and yet he still found a way to land on Santa's naughty list. So, yeah. In April of the 2019 season, Fournette was arrested after he was caught driving with a suspended license. He pleaded no contest and received a $303 fine. This came several months after Fournette received a 1-game suspension in 2018 for unnecessary roughness on a game against the Buffalo Bills. And during the 2019 season, Fournette was hit with a $28,075 fine for a blindside block in Week 3 against the Tennessee Titans. Hopefully Fournette avoids further troubles both on and off the field, but for this year, it's too late. He's already made Santa's naughty list, and I'm sure he'll buy buy himself a nice Porsche to make himself feel better. Number 5, Baker Mayfield. The Browns have drafted a ton of busts with top 5 picks over the years, but Baker Mayfield, the number 1 selection in 2018, appeared to be quite the exception. He was supposed to be the chosen one. He was supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them. Despite not starting the first 2.5 games, Mayfield finished his rookie season with 27 touchdown passes, the most ever for a quarterback in his first year. That's after 2 games that he didn't play. And so, as noted earlier, expectations were incredibly high for 2019 once the Browns landed Odell Beckham Jr. But Mayfield, like many Cleveland players, made headlines for all the wrong reasons this year. Mayfield's play on the field left a lot to be desired, but Baker quickly grew frustrated with his team's play and his critics, and he made headlines for bashing the refs and the media on multiple occasions. He was hit with a $12,500 fine for criticizing officials after a loss to the Seattle Seahawks. He feuded with Colin Cowherd, and he walked out of a press conference following a tense conversation with a reporter. And of course, Mayfield had to go to Twitter to complain about the whole ordeal, while refusing to apologize if he offended anybody. In short, Mayfield simply caused too many unnecessary distractions with his behavior. And Santa doesn't like it when people act in such a selfish, arrogant manner. For that, Mayfield makes the naughty list, though he's still young enough to learn from his mistakes and redeem himself by earning a spot on the nice list for 2020. I had a lot of hope for him, but I guess not. Number 4, Myles Garrett. Not to be outdone by Callaway and Mayfield. The first overall pick from the 2017 draft had no serious issues when he first joined the Cleveland Browns. There was no reason to dislike him, who has more than lived up to expectations as a game-changing pass rusher. But it just takes that one mistake to completely ruin oneself's image and reputation. Garrett unfortunately learned this during a Thursday night home game against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 11 of the 2019 season. With the game winding down, Garrett engaged in a scuffle with the Pittsburgh quarterback Mason Rudolph. Garrett lost his temper and pulled off Rudolph's helmet before hitting him right over the head with it. This led to a huge all-out brawl between the two teams, and Garrett got into it with other Steelers players. Garrett later acknowledged his mistakes, while teammate Baker Mayfield expressed strong disappointment in his teammates' actions. Now Rudolph had to warrant some of the blame for pushing Garrett's buttons. But you never hit a guy over the head with a helmet. He totally crossed the line here. Garrett was suspended for the remainder of 2019, putting the cherry on what has been a train wreck of a season for the Browns. And because of his actions, Garrett has found himself on Santa's naughty list. If you mess with Rudolph, Santa's gonna put you on the naughty list. Number 3, Vontaze Burfict. We don't have proof from the Guinness Book of World Records yet, but we're confident that Vontaze Burfict owns the all-time NFL record for most consecutive years of appearing on Santa's naughty list. Burfict has been the NFL's dirtiest player since his 2012 rookie season. It's practically impossible to keep track of every Burfict cheap shot, as well as dirty play, fine, and suspension. They just keep happening. The hope was that when he signed with the Oakland Raiders in 2019, the 2013 Pro Bowler would be able to play nice for John Gruden. The $100 million head coach is known for being a player's coach after all. But nope, Burfict was suspended for the rest of the 2019 season after a vicious cheap shot on Indianapolis Colts tight end Jack Doyle during a Week 4 game. Good on the NFL for coming down hard on Burfict, but we think a permanent expulsion would have done more good. At any rate, Burfict can forget about getting a nice Christmas gift from Santa. By now, St. Nick is probably accustomed to skipping over the linebacker's home on December 25th. Number 2, Antonio Brown. What a year it's been for Antonio Brown, and we do not say that in a good way. From 2014 to 18, he was the best wide receiver in the NFL, the ultimate definition of unstoppable, dominant, and game changer. There was just no stopping the AB Ben Roethlisberger connection. Only Brown himself could stop it, and sure enough, he did. AB walked out on his teammate before their Week 17 2018 showdown against the Bengals. He forced a trade out of town and went to the Oakland Raiders. But before the season started, he got into a heated confrontation with GM Mike Mayock. That left Mayock and Raiders head coach John Gruden with no choice but to cut Brown before Week 1. Brown was then picked up by the New England Patriots, and just when you thought Bill Belichick would straighten him out, more trouble followed. AB was released after just 1 game as a series of sexual assault allegations and several lawsuits against him were made. Several stories were published about Brown owing thousands of dollars in bills as well. Not only that, but he was even alleged to have threatened and intimidated his sexual assault accuser. Instead of continuing a Hall of Fame caliber career, Brown may have cost himself the chance to ever play football again. That remains to be seen, but for all of his drama, troubles, and selfishness, there's no questioning that Brown is on Santa's naughty list in 2019. Number 1, Mark Walton. This one doesn't require much of an explanation. Walton was drafted in the 4th round by the Bengals in 2018, but they waived him after his rookie year due to off-the-field issues. The Miami Dolphins took a chance on Walton and hoped he could provide some depth in their backfield. This was despite the fact that Walton was arrested 3 times between January January and March of 2019 on charges for battery, marijuana possession, reckless driving, and having a concealed weapon. It didn't take the Dolphins long to realize that Walton wasn't going to change his ways despite earning a second chance. Miami cut Walton after he was arrested on November 19th for battery against a pregnant woman. Walton had already been hit with a 4-game suspension for violating the league's substance abuse policy. 4 arrests in just 1 year. Not only is he on Santa's naughty list, but Walton should never expect to find himself on an NFL roster again. Simply inexcusable. Which other NFL players should be on Santa's naughty list? Join me in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself on social media. We post great content all the time. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, everything, YouTube. Subscribe to TPS on YouTube because we post videos every single day. Every day's a new video. Subscribe. Like this video too, because why would you not? Come on, help us out. You know you want to. Of course, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. I'll see you next time.
My knee.